Hi, Founder fans. Jason here, and today's founder is Gilbert Stuart, a founding artist of the United States, and the reason we know why many early Americans what they look like. So, Gilbert Stuart was just 14 years old living in Rhode Island when he was discovered by an artist named Cosmo Alexander. This European artist was traveling the United States, or I should say British North America, when he found this young man in colonial Rhode Island and brought him across to Scotland to hone his craft because he was already a pretty good artist. Unfortunately for Gilbert, Cosmos Alexander dies the following year, and Stuart has to go back to the United States, or future United States. Anyway, a year or two later, he's actually discovered by another American artist who spent most of his life over in Europe, Benjamin West. Now, Benjamin West would tutor many of the early first original American artists, and Stuart was one of these people. He goes over to Europe for quite some time. He leaves just before the Revolutionary War starts in 1775. Doesn't come back till it's over. So he does miss the war part of the founding, but he is here for another substantial chunk. Now, while Stuart is over in Europe, he starts getting criticized because people are saying, hey, you can only paint faces. You can't paint a whole body. And then he paints an image called the Skater. This is the Skater. This one image changed Gilbert Stuart's life because now he can paint not just faces, but bodies and the background and scenes. Now, Gilbert Stuart suddenly has a lot of people who want to buy portraits from him. He makes a good amount of money, but Stuart had a lifelong problem of spending wisely. He was not very frugal, and he ran into debt. And in fact, he had to run away from Great Britain, where he was painting, from England, where he went to Ireland, and then had to run away from there to the United States. And now I'm not mistakenly speaking. It is the United States. As I said, he missed the war and the states are united. He sets up a shop in Philadelphia where he starts to paint many American founders. And over the ensuing years, he would paint the first 6 presidents of the United States. He would paint the first 2 first ladies, John Jay, the first Chief Justice, and just a laundry list of American founders. And that's how we know a lot of their faces. It's because of this guy. Now, Stuart also, he's not great with money, and he continues to run into debt. And unfortunately, later in life, he actually passes away. And of course, everyone that we talk about here passes away. But he passes away, and he's buried in an unmarked grave because he has no money. Now, his friends and family actually put on a display of his artwork, and this raises enough money to get him a good actual headstone and a burial. Unfortunately, his body's nowhere to be found. They try and dig it up from the unmarked grave, but they can't find it. And this American founder, well, where he lies is relatively unknown. Now, what's interesting about Gilbert Stuart as a painter, according to John Adams, at the time when you had your portrait done, you had to sit very still for a very long time. Not with Gilbert Stuart. In fact, John Adams specifically discusses how much fun it was sitting for Stuart because the lively conversation. Stuart didn't need you to sit still. He just needed to kind of look at you while you were speaking, which makes him different from most of his contemporary artists. And in fact, one of America's first and greatest portrait artists. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit like. I want to give a shout out to Lauren, one of our Patriots on Patreon, who actually asked me some questions about early artists, and I wanted to talk about this. George Washington on the dollar bill. That's Gilbert Stuart. So if you're new here, subscribe. I put out videos 7 days a week, and I'll be back with another founder for you tomorrow.